What is going on, y'all? GamersGoon here today, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while since we talked WWE. We talk about it every now and then when the situation presents itself and it's newsworthy. I try to keep up to date. Same thing with AEW, but realistically, I'm just haven't really had much drive to film content on either of those. But I wanted to come on here today. And I want to give the WWE TKO everybody a big round of applause. They had me fooled. They had you fooled. I don't know if they had their locker room fooled. Maybe they were in on it. But this video, if you see by the title, I guess it's a little bit to do with Money in the Bank. I'm not going to talk about the other matches, really. I'm going to talk about the two winners. Let's just get to them before we get to the finale and what this video is all about, and the thing that really got me excited here this evening with Money in the Bank. First, we had the women's Money in the Bank. I thought it was a really good match. I thought for a minute Stephanie McCur would win. Did not happen that way. It was Naomi. I'm not the biggest fan of using the Money in the Bank with talent that has already been there, done that. And that's kind of one of my criticisms that I'm going to give as well with the men's. And the men's, I enjoyed the match. They had some cool moments there. Jacob Fatu turning on Solo Sikoa. You had Seth Rollins' crew with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. In my head I was thinking JC Mateo. That's where my head was JC Mateo. He did come out there, to be fair. But Seth Rollins got a little bit of assistance, and Seth freaking Rollins won because Jacob Fatu turned on Solo Sikoa. Now, with those two Money in the Bank winners, realistically, both of them win, right? The women have never had a failed attempt. You figured Naomi kind of has started to do this little heel run type thing. She'll probably win the title at some point. When is it? I don't know. And then you look at Seth Rollins, what they're doing with him, with Paul Heyman, with the group that he's with. You're figuring, yeah, he's probably going to get a title. Probably from Jey Uso. Don't expect him to go for Cena's. But that was just the sprinkle, right? I'm a big fan of the Money in the Bank. I'm a big fan of the Money in the Bank stipulation. I like the idea of being able to cash in a contract whenever, wherever, and having an opportunity to win a championship and make a moment for somebody that otherwise would not have been given that opportunity 9 times out of 10. That is where you make big moments. Where you think, Seth Rollins, yeah, he had the heel run when he first turned on the Shield. But what is the biggest moment, really, of Seth Rollins' career? I would argue it is him cashing in at WrestleMania. When you look at all the people that have cashed in the past, you look at The Miz, you look at whomever, right? The Money in the Bank has been make or break for a lot of talent. Once you become a Money in the Bank holder, it kickstarts that push. Yes, you have somebody like Penta that the WWE is trying to get behind and might get there. But once you get that guarantee of grabbing that contract from whatever it's called up there, the briefcase that's hanging down, the rocket is on you. It's all behind you. The company is putting their trust in their future all in you. And I'm going to be honest, looking at the field in both matches, I didn't really get the vibe from anybody other than the men's match, maybe LA Knight, as somebody that is ready to get that rocket strapped to the back and elevate to the main event of their divisions. I thought LA Knight had a decent chance, did not get there. Penta, probably too soon, right? El Grande Americano, I don't necessarily need to see Chad Gable up winning world championships right now. I don't need to see that, really. Solo Sikoa, I like him. I don't think he needs to be the world champion. So yeah, Seth makes sense. Naomi makes sense. I just wish, kind of, that somebody had more of a star-making moment. Because we know Naomi's a star. We know Seth's a star. Do we know if... we assume Julia can get there. We assume Stephanie Vaquer can get there. There's a lot of potential in that women's division. Roxanne Perez, you assume, can get there. Will they, though? I think you need to strap the rocket to somebody and really let them elevate. Because when you look at this long-term women's division, who your long-term players are, those are the big three right there. The men's division, a little bit on the older side with LA Knight, right? But when you're looking for the future of your company, going the route of having somebody that's been there, done that, is not necessarily the greatest. Now, I think Seth and Naomi are both young enough that they will stay around for a couple more years at least and have good title runs, sure. But that's the only criticism I had with Money in the Bank in terms of the match. You see me looking off to the side, by the way. It's because I'm watching the Yankees game. But anyways, then we had the main event. The main event, pretty solid. Nothing great, but pretty solid. You had not Braun Breaker, wow. John Cena and Logan Paul going up against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Pretty solid match. But really the big news coming out of that match, and the reason why I actually was motivated enough to film a video, believe it or not. Yeah, I don't do very many wrestling content videos anymore, and if you're here for that, I am sorry. I just don't really have the time really to want to sit there, watch a 3-hour show and really review it like that. It's just a little bit too much. But I've still been trying to pay attention. And guess what? That all came to the front hold this week when we were informed that R-Truth had been fired from the WWE. So, obviously, big uproar. Fans chanting for R-Truth all week. We want truth. We want truth. People all over were... The locker room was like, dang, and then there's reports coming out that like nobody saw this coming. There's reports coming out that John Cena gave R-Truth one, like he was like pushing for R-Truth to have that match to kind of convince them to keep him because he caught wind of them wanting to get rid of R-Truth. I don't know necessarily if what happened at the end of that match tonight, in that tag team match, was because the fans' reaction to R-Truth leaving, or if it was always planned that way. Either way, for a full week, I believed, you believed, it seems like the main roster believed that R-Truth was fired and gone from the WWE. And then we see somebody in a hoodie rush the ring, attack John Cena, use John Cena's belt against John Cena, unmask, well, not unmask, but pull off his hoodie, and it's R-Truth. It's R-Truth, yeah. That was probably the biggest excitement I had all night. And I'm a big fan of Money in the Bank. I'm a big fan of the Royal Rumble. I like kind of these matches that just give somebody a chance, right? Give somebody that normally would not have a chance. I love being able to have those star-making moments, and I love that particularly about these shows, Money in the Bank, the Royal Rumbles. The biggest moment for me, the biggest moment I believe for that crowd, and the biggest moment of the night coming out, the one that everybody will be talking about, will not be John Cena. It will not be Seth Rollins. It will not be Naomi. It will not be Dominic Mysterio. It will not be anybody. It won't be anybody there other than R-Truth. That is why I used the thumbnail of the video. That is why I got motivated to make a video. R-Truth is back in the WWE. And I think that is a brilliant move. I don't think they should have ever got rid of him. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that they did get rid of him. It might have all been a work, and we all believed it. Hook, line, and sinker. We were all upset. We all were. How could you get rid of him? How could you get rid of the guy that he's done everything you've asked for the last 17 years? How can you get rid of the comedy relief? How can you get rid of the guy that's nobody in the back had one negative thing to say on? How could you get rid of R-Truth? Whether it was the backlash for firing R-Truth or it was just always in the plans, tonight WWE corrected their mistake, if it was a mistake, or tonight WWE proved that they know what we want. We want R-Truth in the WWE. Granted, they might have actually fired. I don't know. We have to see what the reports come out. But R-Truth is back. Now, was it a one-time thing? Doubtful. I assume not Shawn Michaels. Why was I going to say Shawn Michaels? Me and John Cena right now. I'm saying everybody's name but John Cena correctly. Wow. John Cena. You'd assume he's going to call out R-Truth at some point, and they maybe have another match. And maybe in the end game, we are in for an R-Truth title run, which I don't see coming, but I've seen crazier things before. Does the WWE believe that much in Truth? I love Truth in terms of it being a character. The WWE Universe loves him in terms of being a character. But what would that truly look like with WWE's top guy being R-Truth? I don't think it would be a long-term thing. But just think about that for one slimmer of a second. Say you get to the end of John Cena's run here. R-Truth dethrones John Cena. John Cena obviously is around the same age as R-Truth anyways, but R-Truth's always said he's his childhood hero. He's just childhood hero. Even though John Cena was probably the same age as him as a child. It doesn't matter. The one guy at this point that I can see really beating John Cena after tonight, believe it or not, is Truth. Because I was probably, even before Truth had his run against Cena, and I was more so on the thing of just Cena, he'll get his last show, he will take that title with him. But if you're keeping Truth around, in spite of Cena during Cena's run, there might be something there. Anyways, let me know down below what you thought about R-Truth returning. Let me know down below what you thought about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view overall. Let me know if you're excited about the winners. I think they'll go on to have good runs with Money in the Bank and ultimately their championship that they win from it. But the big news of the night is our boy R-Truth is back in the WWE. At least for the time being. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.